Hello, good evening, guys. Thank you so much for your patience, and as promised, this is just a scalping tutorial, which I told you guys about. And without further ado, we'll get back into the introduction. All right, so this I'm trying to make this as short as possible, so that you guys can start reading this strategy as early as possible, but I'll try to incorporate the whole strategy within 2 to 3 videos maximum. All right, so please bear with me. Right, so this trading method is suitable only if you're still unprofitable, right? You know how much I hate people strategy hopping and trading one pattern and it's not working out, and you switch to another pattern that doesn't work out as well. So I don't think, if you are profitable, I don't think that you need to see this video. So that's basically that. Otherwise, if you're really bored and you've got nothing else to do at home, then of course you can watch it, right? If you do think that you can take use of whatever the knowledge I'm giving you in this video and make it as an arsenal to your trading strategy, then of course go ahead and use it, right? You are more than welcome, right? So basically, this is we will only be focusing on one setup a day, so uh, please try to keep that in mind. If you are trading one strategy in the morning and one strategy in the afternoon, and then in the evening you try trading scalp and then you end up being unprofitable, so please do not blame it on me. So you need to wait patiently for the specific session. So understand, we will only trade one session a day if you are trading this, okay? I'm not telling you this doesn't work during the London and Asia. It does work during a particular time in London and Asia as well. But for now, for simplicity's sake, I want you guys to just focus on one session. That will be New York session. One pair as well, so mainly focus on NQ. If you are trading NQ, if you're trading ES, you can focus on ES. For those who trade gold, it's up to you. You can see how it works on gold, and if it's a good outcome, of course, why not, right? And the other thing is that this will be a quick in and out strategy, so you will be entering on low time frame and you'll be exiting on low time frame as well. You won't be holding for a long time, hence why it's a scalp, right? Of course, this will be basically an intraday. There are some times where the trade might go on for about 15 minutes to a maximum 1 hour, but that'll be on rare circumstances. Okay, so we will only be taking one setup a day. So if we get a win on a day, then of course you don't trade again. Maximum two per day. That's if you take a loss, and if you obviously identify you've done a mistake or if your bias was wrong, then you can go ahead and take the um, other trade as well, right? So New York session and after. So when you say New York session, it means New York Stock Exchange opening time, right? So in NYSE, so it's either 9:30 a.m. onwards. That's the New York time, or if you're in the UK, 2:30 p.m. onwards and after that, right? Not any time before. So not the standard lit timings of New York Open or New York Trap, not that. Just at the New York Stock Exchange time. So NQ and ES, and then gold as you prefer. If you ask me whether I can trade these on CFDs, of course you can. There's no harm in it, but understand futures come with zero spread. So if you are scalping, I don't think CFDs are the best option, because you've got spreads there, and then that can cause a problem, especially with news events happening during these events, right? And so entry time frame is 1 minute. So not sorry, not only the entry time frame. So we will only be looking at 1 minute, 3 minute, 15 minute, and 1 hour chart. Nothing more than that, of course, because we are scalping, so we're not really bothered about what the whole daily bias is. Of course, you can switch to daily and see, okay, if it's a actually ranging market, if it's a bullish market or a bearish market, and have some sort of an idea. But understand, we don't need to go beyond these time frames, right? And even the 1 hour is just to mark some key levels. Win rate is 75%. Now, for those who are frowning at me, saying, "Oh, it's only 75%." Come on, right? If you take 100 trades, you'll be winning 75 trades, and you'd only be losing 25 trades. Max loss trees of about 3 trades in a row. That's the maximum. That's me out of back testing data which I've gathered. A win streak of about 4, and the RR is 1 hour. That's it, right? If you guys know about me, how I have uh, turned away from high R trading to standard fixed 1 RR, maximum about 1.5 RR sometimes, but this is the profitability factor for me. And you said B after 0.9 hour. Why? Um, Nothing specific, because sometimes price can reach so close to your TP and then it can reverse to hit your stop loss. So I don't want you guys to take a stop loss. I'd prefer a B than loss. So that's why I said, okay, when it's so close to your TP and you want to wait until it hits your TP, then you could just move it to B. Otherwise, you just let the trade run in, because with 1 hour, there's no point in taking partials or holding, right? Now, understand market can do anything that it wants, right? You will have days where you would enter and the price would go up, and you would basically enter from here and exit from here. That's your whole trade radar, right? If the market moves all the way up here, that should not be a problem, and that's when you need to control your psychology and your nerves to not enter into the trade or not look at the market again. Because why? Easily on another day market will do that, right? You would enter here, exit here, right? This is the entry and the exit, and easily market would go on the other day, other direction, or just keep ranging, right? So this is what happens 75% of the time, and the rest of the 15% of the time market bullish, like the way you saw in early June and May as well, how the markets were really bullish and people were capitalizing on it when the stocks go up, especially with NQ. So that's why I tell you that these should not be bothering factors for you. You should be uh, looking at how you want to take a small profit out of the markets, right? We cannot control what the markets are doing. Understand, we are all playing uh, with probabilities here and nothing else, right? Okay, so what are the key levels I was talking about? So you have to know about the M15 fair value gap. So there's no point in me explaining to you what a fair value gap is. That's basic stuff. So uh, you need to mark the M15 fair value gaps. Then, of course, the 1 hour fair value gaps as well. And RB is an SNR. So what RB or SNR? So what an RB is a rejection block, also known as an SNR, or support and resistance level, right? Uh, Basically, to keep it simple, if you so those guys who have traded Malaysian SNR as me as well at some point, then you would know what I'm talking about, right? So this is a bearish candle, this is a bullish candle, and then if the market closes like this, right? So like this. So this is a rejection block in my terms. So I don't care about what other gurus would state. So this is a rejection block. So this is a key level you would mark, right? So 1 hour time frame is the most important. So 1 hour and 4 hour, but for this purpose, we'll just stick it to 1 hour. Um, but if you guys can go and check a 4 hour time frame as well, how price reacts, especially in Q, you would see price reacting off these levels. Um, Anyways, so 1 hour FVGs you mark, 15-minute FVGs mark. So 1 hour support and resistance levels. It's the same thing as a rejection block, and this is a level you would mark with a horizontal array tool or a horizontal array tool, right? So what we're expecting is price to come back and push up. So of course I'll be showing you guys enough of examples, so don't worry about that. That's just me explaining to you guys in noob terms what a rejection block is. So the same thing as a, if you are talking about resistance or a rejection block in other terms, right? So this is a sell and then a buy. So this is a support. So it's the same thing. If you see a buy um, and then a sell, what does that become? Um, that becomes a resistance or a rejection block in a bearish rejection block, right? So Yeah, so you would mark that key level over here, right? Because I didn't mark the wicks in case you guys want that as well. There you go, right? Right, so wicks as well. So then what I would do, I would mark that as a key level. That's another key level which I would be looking for um in the charts, right? So 1 hour rejection block and bearish and bullish rejection block or support resist, the same thing, right? Now you guys can ask me, what about the wick? Which wick should be the big? Should this wick be big than this one? What do you think? No, it doesn't matter, right? For me, I just want to see a perfect rejection block as this. That's all, right? That's all I want to see, and of course you utilize the other factors as well. So that's that. M15 FEG, 1 hour FEG, RB and SNR. Then is something called ORB, right? Opening range block. So you can use as an indicator. So what's the opening range block? Is basically from 9:30 a.m. to 9:45 a.m. New York time. So we are utilizing that M15 key level period, right? So you can use this indicator, something called ORB, right? ORB. And you can give the settings. So ORB time, make sure you give 15 minutes and then set it to 9:30 to 9:45 a.m. The rest of the style and everything is same. You can do whatever the settings you want. But basically that, right? Just opening range block, ORB. That's what it is. So basically it'll mark the first 15 minutes, which is important for this scalp period. So 9:30 to 9:45 it will mark the whole area, so high and low, and then we will be trading based on that. The similar thing to the initial video I posted, right, where we marked the 8 a.m. candle low and 8 a.m. candle high, but this is basically scalping, so we would be focused on the M15, right, time period. Okay, and then you need to get this indicator as well, session volume profile. So we are trading based on volume as well, right? So session volume profiles, you have the point of care, right, or point of control, and then high volume and low volume. So that's another indicator you guys can add. This one, right? Session volume profile, HVN. So you can add that. These are all default settings. Profile color, I just make it 0 because I don't want to see the profile. That's not my main concern. What I want to see is basically the point of control, right? Volume point of control. And then you can give settings for value area low and value area high, right? Whatever it is. So basically what we're going to use is the low will become the support levels or key areas where the price would react from, and high would become the resistance levels, right? But it's very similar. So these settings, make sure you guys copy that. Style, I just off the boxes and pain levels, and then visibility. These are my settings, right? So those are the only two indicators you would need. Of course, ICT opening prices, if you really need it, you can put that, and that's the same thing, right? Which I've had that before as well. So those are the only two indicators you would need, right? Key levels that, and then entries would depend on several factors, but we would enter on M3 mainly, right? 3 minute is my golden time frame, and that would be the time frame which I would be entering to avoid unnecessary losses on the M1 time frame, right? M5 is too big, so M3 would be something I'm comfortable with. I know there are people who are entering on 30 seconds and M1, but for this, well, out of the data which I've gathered, that seems to be the one that sounds logical for me. And then we would either wait for a inverse fair value gap or a manipulation candle, right? So what's a manipulation candle? Um, Again, these are basics. If a candle closes, right, we want to see the candle open, manipulate the low of the previous candle and close above, right? So that's a manipulation candle. So for example, if this is a bearish candle and you want to see a bullish manipulation candle, so the bearish candle closes over here, so the new candle opens, manipulates the low, goes high and closes above. So that's a bullish manipulation candle. So you can see the wick form like this and the body of the candle form like this and close above. So that means that's a manipulation candle. Same way, right? Same way If you want to see a bearish manipulation candle, what would you want to do? So if it is bearish manipulation candle, you can see a bullish candle like this, right? You would see a bullish candle like this. So this is a bullish candle. Imagine this in a blue color. Then the new candle will open, sweep the high, and then close below, right? If it sweeps the highs and then close below, so this will become a bearish candle, right? A bearish manipulation candle. So that's what a manipulation candle is. So we will be entering off on those, but mainly on inverse fair value gap. So if you guys don't know what inverse fair value gap is, then you guys need to go through those stuff, right? So we'll be combining in opening range blocks and volume profiles with basic market structure idea to enter off these levels, right? But yeah, so in all, that is the whole story for this G scalp, right? For this whole the main idea behind this, right? So if you guys have any questions whatsoever, you can of course ask me with this introduction video. uh, we will soon be getting on to business. I will show you real data over the last 2 months, and I will show you exactly how I'll be looking at the market, what kind of stuff we need to mainly focus on before entering the trades, what you would do before the market and during the market as well, right? If you got any questions with this, then of course do not hesitate to uh, ask me on the general chat, right? Now let's quickly go through about because I don't want to keep you guys hanging just over an introduction video. Let's just go through about the key levels, right? So just for me to show you what I basically mean. um right. Let me just take a photo of this in case this gets deleted. Okay, so switch to 1 hour. Let me off all these indicators, so it's very clear then as to what I'm gonna tell you, right? You can see all these trades which are packed. So let's go find somewhere where I don't have anything else. Okay, so when I say rejection block, what I mean is, right, these ones, right? So you can see here, it doesn't matter the wick, right? And you see how price reacts from here and gives this push and goes up. That's all we would need, right? We are scalping, so we're not looking for big moves. We just need this reaction and then the price to go up, and then if the price comes down, that's not going to be our problem at all, right? So it's those kind of key levels what we are basically focusing on. The same thing as this, right? You see here, right? So people would be entering in cells, and then they would target this as their liquidity, and then say, okay, we're targeting these lows to be swept. But no, those lows will not be swept. Oh, why did the price reverse from here without taking the sell side liquidity, bro? Why did it not tap the 1 hour fair value gap? Because it was reacting at this scenario level, right? Oh, the rejection block. That's why price reversed from here. Simple as that, with timing and all this stuff. um and then if you want to look at bearish stuff as well, right? It's no joke, right? It's very similar. If you notice, sorry, yeah, that disappeared. Let's look at a different one. um this one, right? I don't want to hand pick stuff, but I'm just marking everything I see here. So reaction, rejection, and then price drops all the way down here before going up. But that's the only move we need, right? We only need to focus on small moves, not much, right? Same thing here. Rejection block, look at that. So beautiful, right? So beautiful. Why did not sweep here? Why did it not tap the fair value gap? Doesn't matter, right? That's a rejection block again. Now let's look at this one. Simple, right? Again, there, and if that creates equal lows, and this happens during Asia, right? Push up. So those are the kind of levels we would want to see, and that's what I describe as a rejection block. Now, this is not a typical rejection block. As you can see, this is conformed of consisting of 3 candles, right? But still, you can see market reacting from here, and then the market reacting from here as well. There's another rejection block, right? Sell candle followed by a buy candle. Look at that rejection, boom, right? um you can also, so I'm not hand picking stuff here, I'm just marking whatever I can see. You can see here this one as well. Look at that rejection candle, right? Sell candle followed by buy candle, boom, market react. Again over here, right? Buy candle followed by sell candle, boom, market react and dropped. So it's more than 100 points, and that's all we need, right? That's all we need to catch a trade or pull a winning trade, right? So there's no point in me explaining all that today, but I want you guys to go through the charts and let me know what you think about rejection blocks. Identify 4-hour rejection blocks and 1 hour, and then you will see how the price reacts or from it, right? How the price rejects from it. So 4 hour and then 1 hour, basically. Sometimes it's also good for us to look for 15-minute rejection block inside the 1 hour, but for now, I would just tell you guys to stick to the basics, just 1 hour, right? So you guys know how to mark fair value gaps, 1 hour fair value gaps, and RB and SNR. So the next video, I will discuss about opening range blocks, what we expect, session volume profiles, what kind of stuff we can anticipate, what's the high volume, what's low volume, what's point of control, what kind of stuff we do. We look at that point. Why is price reacting from it, right? For example, um, because I've given you the indicators now, um, I want you guys to go and on the indicators, right? Let's just put the session volume on, and then you guys would understand what I'm talking about, right? You would see price reacting from these levels, right? Price reacting from these levels, and moving around in and around that level for some reason, right? It's the same thing that day. It's the same thing this day as well, right? Why the price would react from this level. So all these I will discuss during the next class, right? If you guys are interested to know more about this, if you guys are excited, let me know. The more excited you are, the more I'll make the next video, right? Cheers, guys. Thank you so much for being patient. Make use of all the free content that's available on the group. There's also a separate channel that's out as well with related to Lovi's content, so make sure you guys are supporting him and learning the maximum you could from that guy, because that guy is really really good in his high RR trades, especially with gold. All right, cheers, good luck, see you guys soon with another video.